All right, this video is going to be for anybody who is just starting out on eBay or is thinking about getting started reselling on eBay. And I just want to cover a few things that nobody really talks about, but there are things that I encountered starting my eBay store this year. And some things were really inconvenient and even brought me to the point of quitting. So I want to just bring these things to your awareness and also to encourage you and show you how you can get past these things and basically get started up and running successfully with your eBay journey. Let's jump right in. All right, the very first thing that I encountered that really sucked was scammers. Now, you've probably heard that there's a lot of scams that go on eBay from both the seller side and the buyer side. And I think these happen so little that they're really nothing to worry about. But when I first started selling on eBay, my first few transactions, I was getting scammer after scammer after scammer. And basically what these scammers would do is they would submit an offer to me. I would accept the offer. And then they will send me a direct message basically saying something along the lines of, hey, I have a few questions regarding the purchase. If you can kindly text me at so and so and so, and they would give me their phone number. So right off the bat, I thought that was suspicious. I thought this may be a scam. So I asked my wife, who has been reselling for a lot longer than I have. And basically she said, yes, those are scams. Don't just ignore them. Don't pay attention to them. Don't, move forward with the transaction. So I started to get a little bit discouraged because it was happening so often. Pretty much every other sale I was getting was one of these scams. So I did what everybody does nowadays, and I went directly to YouTube and tried to figure out what was going on and how I could get past this. And what I came to learn is that these scammers are basically going after people who have just started on the platform. And the way that they know is that they're going directly for people who have zero feedback, maybe even just a little bit of feedback on their account. And I even asked my wife, I said, hey, do you get these type of scams? And she's like, no, I never get those. But what it is that my wife already had tons of feedback because she's had her eBay account from a long time ago. And when it came to my account, I had zero feedback. That's why they were targeting me. But as soon as I started to get some feedback, I've never gotten that again. So basically, just know that you probably are going to get scammed. Know that they're going to send you a message to try to get you off of the platform. You can go ahead and ignore those transactions. And just know that as soon as you start getting some feedback, you won't get those type of scams anymore. All right, the second thing is the listing limit. So a lot of people don't know this because they've had their eBay account for years, and usually they are able to list a lot of items. But I started my account this year in July, so just a couple of months ago. And when I did, the platform was only giving me 10 items to list per month. So I'm watching daily refinement videos and he's talking about a listing goal, and I'm ready to rock and roll, right? I'm ready to just start listing a bunch of items every single day. So 10 items is just not gonna do it. So I knew this wasn't gonna work for me. And my wife even said, don't worry, they're gonna increase your listing limit once you start making some sales and showing that you're trustworthy on the platform. But I didn't wanna wait. So I immediately went on chat and reached out to eBay. And in just 5 minutes, I was able to increase my listing limit from 10 to 80. And that's only because I told them, or they had asked me, how many do you expect to list every month? And I think I told them around 60, and that's why they gave me 80. So if you want more, I'm sure you can request more and they can give you more. And then from that point on, once I started listing and making sales, they automatically increased the listing limits. So if you're just getting started out and you find that you have a listing limit that doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. You can reach out to eBay chat and they can take care of that for you. All right, the next thing is that your listings renew. So basically what I mean by this is that even though I had an 80 item listing limit, that doesn't mean that I can list 80 items every single month. What that means is that I can have 80 active listings. So for example, if I listed 80 items that first month and I didn't sell anything, then next month I couldn't list any more items because I had reached my limit of how many active listings I have, because every single month, those listings that are still active or haven't sold are going to renew. So just make that distinction that when you see that you have a listing limit of 100, that means that you can have 100 active listings, not that you can list 100 items every single month. This also plays into how many listings you get for free. In my account, I'm not sure how it works for everybody, but they give me 250 free listings every single month. And again, I thought that every single month I can list 250 items and they're not going to charge me for it. But since the listings renew every month, once I have more than 250 active listings, they're going to charge me 30 cents per every listing. So basically what that means is that if I don't want to pay any listing fees, the insertion fee of 30 cents, then I'm going to have to maintain my store below 250. So it's not a problem to go past that, right? If you have a big store or if you're doing this full time, I'm only doing it part time so I can stay under that amount. But if you're doing this full time or you're looking to really make a business out of this and you want to go past that amount, you can go past that amount, just pay the insertion fees. It's just the cost of doing business. Or you can also subscribe to the store subscriptions, which give you more listings for free. But just be aware that when it says you have a listing limit, that's how many active listings you can have every single month. All right, and the next thing is that there is a 4-day grace period for your buyer to make a payment once they make an offer. So for example, if I list something and someone sends me an offer for it and I accept it, now they have 4 days to make that payment to complete that transaction. This might not necessarily be a big deal, but it really sucks when someone accepts an offer and then you're waiting for 4 days for them to make that payment, and then that payment never comes through, and then that transaction is canceled. Because not only are you disappointed that you didn't make the sale, but they're holding up that listing for 4 days where someone else could have bought it. And from hearing other YouTuber stories about this happening to them, I basically realized that what some people end up doing is that they accept an offer, so they know that they have that offer there available to them. And then they shop around to see if they can score that item for cheaper. And if they score it for cheaper, then they won't buy yours. And they'll just allow that to fall off and the transaction to be canceled. But the great thing about this is that eBay is talking about removing that feature and having them have their card ready so that if they accept an offer, they have to pay immediately. All right, next up is Vero, which stands for Verified Rights Owner Program. And basically what this is that there's brands out there who don't want you to resell their brand. They're very picky about how they want their brand to be represented, and they just don't allow for resellers to resell their brand. So if you're to go on eBay, there's actually a section on eBay where there's a list of Vero brands. And when you go on there, you can see a list of companies that you're not allowed to sell their items. Now, if you are to list or sell items that are on this list, what happens is that you're going to be penalized. This could come in the form of a warning. They may close your store down for a few days, for a week, or in the worst case scenario, they're going to permanently close down your store. This wouldn't be so much of an issue if you can go to this list on eBay, just check it out, make sure you're not getting any items from this list, and then you're good to go. The problem is that this list is not comprehensive. This list is only for the companies that have registered with eBay. But there's still a lot of companies out there who, although are not on this Vero list on eBay, they still participate in this program and they don't want you to sell their items. So there could be items that you don't even know of. You put it in your store and then these companies come cracking down on your listings. The worst part about it is that even if you've sold an item that is a Vero brand and it's been a couple of months, they could still come after you. So when it comes to Vero, at first it was a little bit discouraging because I started to feel a little bit overwhelmed about not knowing, what I could and couldn't pick up at the store. But what I started to come to realize is that there was a lot of stores of people that have been doing it for a lot longer than I have, which with much bigger stores, and they haven't really come across big issues when it comes to Vero. Just as much as you learn about what brands you can sell, you little by little start learning what brands you can't sell. And the items that you can't sell is very few in comparison to, all the items that you can sell. As you do this more often, you're going to continue to build the confidence, the knowledge, right? The experience that you need to get past the Vero brands to be able to build a successful store. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but it's just nice to be aware of it so it doesn't hit you blindly, so it doesn't discourage you, so that you know that you can get past this. Now, if you really want to start getting good at this game right out of the gate, then you really have to start learning which are the items that have the fastest sell-through. Sell-through is keen when it comes to this game. Learning the brands that are going to sell fast means that you're going to have cash flow in your business, and that's going to get your store moving and turning over time and time again. So if you really want to start learning about these brands, then I recommend you check this video out.